Several NGOs, including children's homes, rehab centres and shelters in Gauteng, now face closure after the provincial government's failure to pay subsidies. Now, last year, the Social and Economic Development Departments both said they were finalising service-level agreements and compliance of organisations to meet delayed payment deadlines at the time. Let's get some clarity on the situation now, and bringing the HOD at the Social Development Department, Bongani Ngomane. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Bongani, it seems like a bad dream, and it's happening all over again. What is different this time? Because I remember last year there were challenges in the payment system, but also there were issues around these service level agreements not being finalized. Is it the same story replaying itself again now, months later?
Good afternoon to all the listeners at home, and also to you. No, it's not the same bad dream playing itself all over again. We are in the process of paying. We have so far paid about 70% of NGOs that are supposed to be paid for Q1. And the process is still on. We are still paying. We hope by mid-June, next week, by this time, we should be 100%. The only challenge we have is that some NGOs have not yet returned their service level agreements that we gave them. Some NGOs are non-compliant, especially around the sexual offenders register. It's very dangerous for the state to fund the NGO that is not fully compliant, and especially for those that are working with children or with disabled or older people without a clearance from the sexual offenders register. So those are other things that are making the process slow. Also, the NPOs that are in the space of HIV and AIDS, we are also having difficulties with them because the budget was cut by the Treasury, and we are in talks with them in trying to see how much we can allocate to the NPO. However, the process of signing service level agreements with them has started.
Sorry, Bongani, can I interrupt you there? Pardon me. I'm trying to get the story straight here. And on the one hand, you're saying it's the service level agreement, but on the other hand, you're saying the budget has also been cut. So which is it? And can you confirm whether the department has returned any money or will return any money to Treasury because of underspending in the 2024-25 financial year?
Just to clarify, the issue, by and large, is compliance on those that are not yet paid. It's compliance. But specifically for HIV and AIDS, we are in the process of signing service level agreements because budget in that space was cut. Then in respect of underspending, yes, indeed, last financial year, there were underspendings in the NGO space. And those underspendings were as a result of a few factors. One, it's that there were NPOs that took the government to court, the department to court, and we had to set aside a budget for them. In case they win the court case, then we should pay them. Unfortunately, the court case is not yet over, but some of those NPOs have been paid already. But also, another underspending was on goods and services of the department, which is not related to the NPO space. If you will note that initially the underspending was about 500 million, but last financial year it got reduced to about 100 million. Still a big figure, but it demonstrates that the department is trying very hard to allocate money to NPOs, to the NPOs.
Yeah, it's a huge figure, isn't it? Because, I mean, we're talking about organizations that help the most vulnerable people in society. These are organizations that run domestic violence shelters, child and youth care centers, substance abuse treatment facilities, facilities for people with disabilities. So 100 million rand being sent back to Treasury when there are shelters that are on the verge of closure.
Another factor which makes it difficult for the department to fund is it's the issue of non-compliance. We can't give money to NGOs that are non-compliant. And that is one other reason that made us to underspend.
No, I absolutely understand that. Sorry, Bongani, the challenge I'm having is that you're giving us one version of the story as the HOD of social development, but these organizations that help the most vulnerable in South Africa, they're telling us a completely different story. For example, there are two children's homes in Gauteng. They house more than 250 children. They've not received a service level agreement for the new financial year. They were told that the delays in their funding was because they need this J738 form from the Department of Justice. So we know that's the form that's needed in terms of the sex offenders registry, right? So the department accepted proof that they had indeed filled in these forms, but they're still waiting for funding, and they've got about a month now of reserve funding before they close, and before those 250 children and youth are at the mercy of the elements.
If the organization does not have the clearance from justice system in terms of the sexual offenders register, it's very risky to fund them. It's very risky.
But they say they have applied for the form, Bongani. That's the issue.
But if you have applied, it doesn't mean you are cleared.
Right, I absolutely understand that. So my question is, risky. How long does it take once I've applied to get that clearance? Is the delay not perhaps with the Department of Justice then?
But I'm responsible for Department of Social Development, so I can't speak for Department of Justice.
Right, but to your knowledge, how long does it take? To your knowledge, how long does it take?
How long it takes. What we do as a department, we've got our own systems and procedures. We've got our own requirements. So once you meet those requirements, we fund. But if you can't meet those requirements, we can't fund. And in any way, the organizations that we have been working with before, those that we know, like the children's home, the old age homes, or we know it's people who have been cleared before. We don't make it difficult to assist them, to work with them. We can give them temporal compliance or temporal registration until we wait for them to be fully compliant. So I'm not sure which institution or organization you are referring to, but if we can get the name or the details of those organizations, we will deal with them, we will attend to them, and if there are organizations that we have worked with them before that we know that can be trusted, I don't see why we can't find them. So it will be good really to get their names. I will really appreciate that.
I will have our producer team get you the names. It is from a report by Ground Up. They've reported quite widely about this issue. But do you think it's good enough, though, Bongani, to say that in terms of the Department of Justice, that is not your department? Do you think it's good enough for a government department to say, we work in silos, I work for the Department of Social Development, that's a Justice Department issue, and to just wash your hands of the delays that we're seeing in the sector?
It's not good, but again, it's very dangerous for one to stand up in public and represent the department that is not working for. Because I don't have any legal standing to represent Department of Justice. But we do meet with them, we do meet with SAPS, we do meet with courts, and even with Department of Health on these issues. But I can't really say for Department of Justice it takes 2 weeks or 3 weeks, because I honestly don't know their systems and processes. It's like asking me now, how long does it take for one to get a driver's license? I can't answer that with authority because I'm not working for traffic department. So I'm not just washing my hands and saying we can't do anything. That's why I'm saying give me the names of those organizations. We will attend to them. But
well, I mean, there are
it.
600 payments that are outstanding.
No,
I mean,
no,
should it?
True.
That certainly is according to the committee that is looking into this, the crisis committee that is trying to deal with the issue of late payments to organizations.
No, the problem with crisis committee, they are desperate to create a crisis this year, and there's no crisis. I've said this, that Lisa Fenter does not want to work with government. She just wants to criticize us. It's not true that 600 organizations outstanding. Our statistics are saying we have paid 70%. And the organizations we are funding this year are less than 800. In fact, they are less than 900. They are around 800. So it can't be 600 organizations. But if Lisa, again, has got the names, the list of that 600, let her give it to me. But GCC, it's the only organization that represents NGOs, which refuses to cooperate with government. There are many other organizations that represent NGOs. We sit down with them, we discuss with them, and we work together. We've got Older Persons Forum, we've got Disability Forums, we've got Children and HIV and AIDS sector representatives. All of those organizations, they cooperate with us. They don't go to the media, they don't go to courts because they understand what it means to be in partnership. So I really dispute that there are 600 organizations that are outstanding. If they are there, let me see that list. And I will
600
tell you
payments, sorry, Bongani, 600 payments that have yet to be made. So
no, that's not true. That's why I'm saying it's not true. We are funding around 810 organizations this year. And out of that, we have paid about 70% of them. We have spent, just for first quarter, we have paid 343 million to NGOs. So whether it's 600 or any number, it's not correct. It's far below 600. I'm sure by now, Peter, I don't have the number, but they keep on changing. Our finance department is paying almost every day. But the organizations that are outstanding, they are far less than 600.
So can you just clarify for us, Bongani, the service level agreements, how does that work in terms of the number of service level agreements that are issued to organizations? How does that work? Is it one service level agreement per organization?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Each organization gets a service level agreement which is valid for 1 year, which sets out how much they are going to be paid, what is it that they are going to be doing or services they will be providing to the public, and how the department expects to work with them going forward. So basically, it's an agreement. You can even say it's a MOU. Mm-hmm. But in this case, because they are providing a service, we call it a service level agreement.
Right. And how many SLAs, as you call it, would have been issued to organizations? Do you have that figure?
I don't have the figure now, but we have issued, because again, the SLA depends per program. You'll find that one organization is providing more than one program. For an example, let's say we've got Joburg Older Persons Organization or Old Age Home, Joburg Old Age Home, but they also take care of younger children. Mm-hmm. Maybe they are running a crash of some sort. So they will get 2 SLAs.
Yeah, so that's why I asked you. That's why I asked you for the connection between how many organizations and how many SLAs, because obviously it doesn't mean that it doesn't add up. It's not like you. So according to the information we have from the department, which was issued on Monday from your department, is that 1,640 SLAs have been issued to organizations. So why that question is important is because that doesn't mean there are 1,640 organizations, correct?
Yes.
So how many organizations are there?
Currently, organizations, I will roughly say, it's around 810. I don't have the exact number, but it's around 810, 820 organizations that we are funding this year. That is why I was saying, if you're saying it's 600 organizations are not yet paid, that's not true. But if we are saying it's around 600 SLAs that are not yet dealt with,
yes,
that
600
is correct.
SLAs.
Or that might be correct.
Yeah.
That might be correct, yeah.
Yeah, so 818 payments have been made. So 818 SLA payments have been made, and 600 are still outstanding. Does that sound right to you? Yes,
that could be correct. Yeah, that sounds much correct.
Right. So that doesn't work out to 70% of the payments being made then?
When did you get that information?
Did you not just say that 70% of payments have been made?
That's why I'm saying our CFO, our finance team is paying every day, almost every hour. As we are speaking here now, there are maybe 5 or 20 organizations or SLAs that have been paid. So our statistics keep on improving by hour, by day. So it's very then important to make sure that any information you have is the latest. If it was Monday, then it's the old information.
Yes, it was Monday. It was a statement from the department from Monday.
But before I came for this interview, I checked with our finance team, I checked with our CFO, and the figures that I'm sharing with you and with the public are the figures of today, this morning. So by tomorrow morning, it may not be 70, it may be 72% or more than that.
Okay,
but the bottom line,
what's your message to these SLAs then on when this will be sorted out?
To the NGOs, it's that they know where our offices are. They know our social workers. If they are experiencing challenges, let them feel free to engage with us. And some of them even have our phone numbers, our cell numbers. So if they've got any challenge, let them engage with us. We will. But our payment system is such that we try very hard to prioritize shelters. We prioritize old age homes, disability homes, children's shelters. Then the last one is your training, your skills development. And those are the ones that we are dealing with late. But any other NPO that has got issue or question or a concern, let them feel free, please, to engage with us. And also even from the side of the media, even from the GCC, Gauteng Crisis Committee, they need to feel free to engage with us. They need to say these are NPOs that are about to close. But again, any NPO that is about to close, we will be the first one to know, because those NPOs will come to us and say, we've got this problem, we've got these people, we are about to close. What must we do with these children? What must we do with these beneficiaries? Then we will work with them either to rescue the situation or to assist in making things easier by paying them. So it's all about sharing information, really. Our doors are open, we are transparent, we are available anytime. So NGOs should feel free to engage with us.
All right, the HOD for the Social Development Department, Bongani Ngomane, let me thank you for your time this afternoon. There you have it. If you are part of an NPO, an NGO working in this space, the Social Development Department says their doors are open and they are available to help in any way that they can.